Hello all. In this video, let's look at a demo app whose code is already present in the project when we start a new one. So let me open my Android Studio. So let's wait till that loads up. So in this system, I am having a slightly different UI. This is the one which I have been talking about earlier because this is a different system. So I will click on cancel here because I want to go back to the main screen over here. So as you can see over here, the current version in this studio is actually version 3.5.3, as you can see over there. So it was actually 3.6.1 in the previous case, so there's a difference in the UI. So as you can see over here, there's a start a new Android Studio project as well as start a new Flutter project option over here. So this is present in this version, or you may be also having this same version. So let's click on start a new Flutter project right now. So now we have something like this over here. It shows whether we want to go with a Flutter application, Flutter plugin, or Flutter package, or a Flutter module. So we know that we are going to build a Flutter application, so let's select that. So in the previous video I showed something entirely different to this user interface. So if you're having this particular user interface, you can follow up with this, or if you want you may go with that if the user interface which is available for you is something different. So let's select Flutter application for the time being, and let's click on next to go to the next stage. So in this page I had to enter the project name, so I'm removing this current name and I'm going with something called as counter app, because we are going to demo that particular application. So I'm going to provide that over there. So be sure that you don't enter the space in between that. You can use underscore. And next comes the Flutter SDK path. If you have already added that, then you may not have to add that again, because once you have added that, it will be available as that as the same for most every projects. So if not, you can add the Flutter project as shown in the previous video. Then you can change the location if required, or else you can go with the default location. So I changed my location, and then I'm going to click on next. Here actually I have to add the company domain. So as said earlier, if we have our own domain, you can enter that. So I'm going to enter my domain over here, that is aravind.me over here. So because that's my domain. So as you can see over here, the domain extension is coming first and the domain is coming second, following with the application name, that is a counter app. So that's with that. So next, I don't want to include Kotlin support as well as maybe Swift support for this particular application, so I'm removing that. And I want to include Android artifact support for this particular application, so I'm going to select that. It's also called as Android X. So I'm going to click on finish now, because the current setup is over. So as usual, it will take some time to get started with the first setting, so let's wait. So my project is has loaded up. So as you can see over here, some tips are shown, so I'm just going to close it now. If you want, you can read that, so I'm going to close it now. So as you can see in the bottom, there are some processes already running, like indexing the resources and all other stuffs. So only when that's over, we can start working on our project. So now it's ready and we can work on our project, edit it in the way we want. So in this project, as you can see over here, there's a lot of code, nearly 120 lines of code, out of which almost a majority of them actually starts with this double slash, which represents comments as usual. So if you want, you can remove them, or you can read through them to understand what that implicates. Let's now try to run this code right now to view what this code like transforms into. So for that, we can either use the emulator, or we can use the use our own device in which USB debugging has been turned on. So for the time being, we can use Android emulator. So as you can see over there, there's no devices shown over there. So let's create a device or open a device. For that, actually over there you can see an option to start the Android virtual device folder that is over there. So in this I'm going to select my Pixel 3a device and I'm going to click on this particular button to launch my Android virtual device. So as you can see over the bottom, see towards the bottom, it's starting. So actually in the meantime, while it loads up, we can close this particular window and wait for the Android virtual device to load. So actually I will adjust my window in such a way that when the emulator loads up, it is easy to view. So yeah, let it load up. So actually we can do something interesting right now. Okay, so first you can open the drawer, then navigate to the settings. So make sure that this thing is done in your physical device too if you are using it to install or try out your new applications. So in this inside settings, go towards bottom and find something called as what about system or something called a system. So select that, and so let it load up now. So inside system, open something called as about system or about emulator device, something like that. So yeah, it's in top for me, so I'm selecting that. So once you load that, you have to go towards bottom and yeah, towards bottom and find where build number is. So once you find that, click on that for 7 times. So this is done to make sure that you are selected, you are a developer, like you are choosing the developer portfolio inside your mobile phone. So make sure you are doing this in your physical device too. So once you do that, a message will be toasted called as you are a developer now, and now you can go back and see an option like developer options added to the list over there. So let's select that. This will be a new set of options especially for developers like you. So towards a little bit down, you can see something called as USB debugging. Make sure that it's turned on in this device as well as in your physical device to install our applications. So as you can see, like, let's move back to the Android Studio right now. So we know that when you check over there, it's showing that there's no devices. So if you're facing this problem, follow up with me, or else you can select whichever device you have. In the file, open project structure, and then once it loads up, so let's wait. Once it loads up, as you can see over there, it's showing that there's no SDK available for that project SDK. So there's a list of them available, so I'm going to select API 29 as of now. So after selecting that, you may select whichever you have over there, and after that click on apply and then OK. So now everything will be okay right now. So once we check again, you can see that there's Nexus device as well as a Pixel device available for me. So I have my Pixel device open right now, so I'm going to click on that one. That is the second option which is for open for me right now. So now this Android emulator as well as Studio is now connected. So you can see over there too, Pixel 3 API 28 is shown over there. So now let's run this code over there. Click there. So now actually the process will start running. So this will take some time. So towards bottom, like you can see now a console actually loaded up, so you can see that a main.file has been launched and a Gradle task is being running. So actually you can see all the details which are associated with this particular running of a project in that particular console. So everything will be shown over there, including the installation and everything. So even if there's any error, it will be also shown. So let's wait till the application installation is over. So it took some time for me, so I just fast forwarded it. So let's wait. So now this application is being installed on my device. Though it's showing into my device, like it's not complete, because as you can see towards the bottom, like it's showing that syncing files to my emulator. So once it's ready, the application will be ready to use after like scanning the index files and all those stuffs. So now yeah, let's wait some more time. So as you can see, scanning files to index is shown over bottom. So once it's ready, now it's ready. So once you click on the button, we can increase the count by clicking on the button again and again. So my system is a little bit unresponsive due to the specifications, but yeah, so that I clicked on the button and turned it to 18. So that's it. So now let's try to change the title. So once like when you look over there and cross check with the code, you can see that this is the title. So I'm going to change that to maybe something like counter app, because we are like this particular app is meant to do that. So I changed that to counter app. So we need to bring this change onto our application, right? So in earlier cases, when we used to develop with Java and Android Studio, it used to take around 1 minute or more than 1 minute for us to rerun the app again, so that the changes will be shown in the new application. But actually, what do we say? In the case of Flutter, there's actually some cool features. So one of them is actually called as what do we say, hot reload and hot restart. So yes, uh, these are supported by actually stateful and stateless users, something like that, so about which we will be dealing in detail later on. So for that, actually this is the hot reload button and this is the hot restart button. Hot restart has two buttons, that is the play button as well as towards the one over bottom. So when we click on hot restart, it takes around 3 to 4 seconds to get our application started from scratch again. That is not built again. It's just restarting the application by bringing in the changes, and in hot restart it just like transfers that particular change, that particular change to our applications instantaneously, that is within 1 second or 1 to 2 seconds. So these are some amazing features that Flutter supports. Okay, so so now let's try to hot restart or maybe hot reload our app, so that our title changes. So for hot reloading, just click on that particular button. So my application will hot restart, hot reload now. So as you can see over there, my application reloaded in 1.5 seconds over there, and you can see the title has been changed from counter app, from something else to counter app. So now we can change this blue color to red. Just type in red color and it will automatically select red color for you, and then click on hot reload again. Yes, so now you can see that our app instantaneously changed to a red theme right over there. So that's an amazing feature of what do we say, hot reload and hot restart. When we click on hot restart button over there, now my application will hot restart, because now it's showing that it took around 3.9, that is around 4 seconds for my application to restart again. So it's just done in such a way that the only that particular change is being transferred into our application, and no other thing is done, that is it's not being rebuilt from the scratch again. So if you want to keep these changes again, you have to click on that particular red triangle over there, so that it stops and we can run it again to what say the changes. So maybe you can try changing the text over there, which is present in the middle of the application. You can change that if required. And you know, in the floating button we can actually, what do we say, in the floating button we can see that it's having an increment option, that is an addition option, you can see over there. So if you want, we can change that button maybe to something like home. Yeah, let's try that. Maybe we can do something like that. So in Flutter it supports another thing like an material icon package within the Flutter package. So we don't have to load anything, we can just change the name and click on hot reload. So I just did that. Now my icon shape changed to home button instead of an increment button or addition button. So actually this is about Flutter. And let's try another example. I'm changing my initial count to 100. When I clicked on hot reload, it didn't change because we had to hot restart it to bring that particular changes into our app. So hot reload just brings super fast changes. So what I'm going to do again is I want to decrease the count whenever I tap on the button. So I'm just going to change the initial count to 10 and hot restart the app. So as you saw, hot reload didn't work, so let's try hot restarting it. So now as you can see over there, let's wait, my initial count changed to 10 over there. So when I click on this button again, it will decrease, because we set that in such a way. So my application will showing it like keep on showing a decreased value. So yes, that's it regarding the default Flutter application. You can try changing the color theme or this text shown over there, the icon or the count or anything for today, because this is the demo app and you can try or play with it as long as you want. So that's it for this video. We'll get back with more details soon.